Hey everyone, gonna talk about Intel. It turns out they're stupid. Also, they've been ripping us off. They have recently released the i9-10980XC. It's a re-release of a re-release. Basically, it is a better version of the 9980XC, which was a better version of the 7980XC. So yeah, it's kind of like the 9980XC being the re-release of it for nostalgia's sake, and the 10980 being the remaster. If we were talking video games, they're dumb. Let's face it. So they released the 10980XE on the same day that AMD released their Threadripper processors. By the way, they dominate. Even the R9 3950X beats the 10980XE in a few benchmarks, depending on who you look at. But back to the point at hand. So they decided to release it the same day, whether that was a decision or not, to go, you know what, our competition is releasing on this day, must be a good day to release the CPU on, is up to debate. But AMD had publicly announced, and Intel kind of came in second. So it makes it look like they decided to join in on the releasing fun. While it is cheaper than the 9980XE by like $1,000 for the US pricing, not quite sure about the Australian pricing, and it does have small improvements in performance. So that's a good thing, it's a benefit. Depending on the benchmark, it's performing anywhere from under half the performance of the 3970XE from AMD to about 50% less, which in a way makes sense because it's got half the cores and thread count. It sounded, if listening to the reviewers, as if they decided to move the embargo lift by 6 hours so that it was ahead of AMD. The reviews came out before the Threadripper reviews did, because they're stupid. It doesn't make them look good, it makes them look scared. I don't blame them of the performance numbers. It doesn't make them look good. Part of the issue is they just are unable to innovate. Like, they have basically failed at 10 nanometer, and AMD has just come out from 14 down to 12 and then from 12 to 7 nanometers. Like, that's a pretty big jump in all fairness, and Intel can't go from 10 to 14. They're having a lot of trouble with that, and that's part of why the 10980XE isn't as good as what it probably could have been. That's because it's a 14 plus nanometer processor, I'm pretty sure. Not quite sure why I've gone to all the effort to basically solder the IHS. That's somewhat understandable. But then overclock it slightly as well. Like, basically they're just binning the products. So it doesn't make much sense as to why. Now to them basically admitting that they have been overcharging us. In all fairness, they've been top dog for a while. AMD has basically slaughtered them. They're charging you $1,000 for the 10980XE and they're still making money. And it's a better processor. So surely more time and effort has gone into it, and or the binning process may be a little bit more stringent, where there may be more, and the silicon, there may be more failures for the 10980XE. So they're still making money off you. But because they were top dog and they can charge whatever they want, within a 9980XE, they could charge you $2,000 for it. In my opinion, Intel shouldn't have released the 10980XE. They should have just not exactly stick to their guns, but that's how it would have looked like. They should have just stuck with what they've got and go, you know what, we can't make what we've got too much better. We need to make the die size smaller so that we can get benefits and make a better product. So if Intel can cut $1,000 off, basically half the price of a HEDT processor, what could they do with the mainstream processors? Have they been overcharging or not? Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments section below what your thoughts are on the 10980XE, and if you agree with me, then Intel is stupid for re-releasing the re-release. Kind of like Pokemon games, and all honesty. Going on a tangent here. like Pokemon games, traditional Pokemon games, you get your first couple, and it's like, yeah, awesome. Then a year later, you get the slightly updated version. So you've gone from your first one of the 7980XE to your slightly updated, the 9980XE. And then for Pokemon games, like 10-20 years later, you get your remaster. You get like it's all fresh graphics and whatnot, and there's your 10980XE. It's just, well, the time gap between the 9980XE and then 10980XE wasn't all too large, but but that's what it's like. Anyway, your thoughts down in the comment section below. I also want to hear if you guys have, and girls, whatever you identify as, have any thoughts on how I can make my videos better. That'll be helpful. I'm kind of editing these videos blind, I guess. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe to me as well. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a good week. See ya.